That leads me on nicely to how me and Defamation Noodles first met.
Do you think it's okay for someone to spread false allegations? Def Noodles has no problem whatsoever slandering people.
We're kind of surprised no one's actually sued him for defamation of character.
So we have not just one bit of defamation by calling John Swan, an alt-right YouTuber.
Def Noodles is a slanderous commentator who has lied about multiple creators, spreaded multiple false allegations about several creators.
Accusations, all of this high-end nuclear takes and borderline defamation of characters.
Who is a very serious problem, in my opinion, for the entire YouTube community, because they have no problem slandering people for content and for clicks on Twitter and stuff like that.
I'm never in favor of seeing anybody get deplatformed or anything, but rules are rules.
You know, even worse, they could make potentially slanderous drama videos that intentionally misrepresent people to their audience under the guise of it's just a joke, bro. Doesn't think that the definition of slander applies to him.
At the end of the day, though, most commentary channels criticize something. When you do commentary videos where you criticize people or you do drama news, whatever you label it as, it's best to tell the facts how they are. You know, not lie.
The commentary community will all agree that going after sponsors threatens the entire platform. It opens the floodgates to other content creators losing money from audiences targeting the companies who pay creators. Unless someone is a criminal or preying on children, the community will agree targeting sponsors is a bad move. This same logic is meant to apply to the idea of deplatforming, but proved these same people who are anti-deplatforming will call for the deplatforming of people they hate. YouTube is a volatile platform. Consequences can have a ripple effect. It's still new, and this is the reason why we don't want to set the trend that going after sponsors is ever okay. If you lose your sponsors for stepping out of line, I will be next. If you lose your platform, I will be next. So it's best to work as a team and agree sponsors should never be told about small mishaps. No one is perfect, so it's not worth the repercussions that could affect the rest of us. When H3H3 was being sued by Matt Hoss for criticizing his content, the community came together to support H3 because up until now, there was no example of a YouTuber being taken to court for criticizing under fair use. The win H3H3 got in court was a win for the entire platform. It set the precedent that we could criticize content under fair use and show their content in our content. H3H3's win will be the example of any content creator could use in court for the content they made on YouTube if the day comes someone decides to pull a Matt Hoss and sue them for fair use criticism. H3H3 welcomed Triller to sue him for sharing their content on his stream because he argued it was fair use. He should know. He was the one who was sued for fair use before.
The one thing I want to say about that is Ethan Klein was sued many years ago, and he won the lawsuit, and he was a champion for fair use. And he said multiple times that he wanted this to be a part of his legacy, that he did something good for the entire community. Yeah. And then in 2021, he pirated a pay-per-view fight and streamed it on his show. It's fucking hilarious. Your legacy is fucking down the drain, you stupid motherfucker.
You see the trend here? It's precedent. It means what comes before, which is extremely valuable when talking about the future of court cases. If you were being sued by a content creator for taking their content, reacting to it, criticizing it, or transforming its meaning, H3H3's case would be your precedent to use, where a judge said it's fair use as a matter of law, describing it as a quintessential comment and criticism. As a community, we don't want a president of the community targeting sponsors or deplatforming because we agree you should be allowed to freely speak and earn money. Which leads us to the situation with the commentary community versus Def Noodles. My problem with this situation is the call for Def Noodles to be sued.
it seems like every month or so we have to talk about again, because this content creator continues to slander and spread misinformation about various different people within the community, and that is a content creator known as Def Noodles. Y'all know I've talked about Def Noodles in the past. I've even gone as far as to say that I predicted at some point in the future he will probably get sued because he's constantly spreading misinformation about other content creators in the YouTube community, and today is no different.
In 2019, Romeo Lacoste was accused of sending inappropriate messages to underage girls. Keemstar, along with other news outlets, reported this. Lacoste and his attorney requested Keemstar and the other outlets to remove the articles and videos, but Keemstar refused. Some news outlets removed the articles because they were scared to get sued. Lacoste sued Keemstar, but Keemstar won. Keemstar said he went to court because this was for freedom of speech. Keemstar countersued, and they landed on a settlement. Keemstar got a payout, and Romeo Lacoste's 1 million subscriber button.
A YouTuber sued me for $3.5 million, but I just want to give you a quick summary of what took place. The tattoo artist and YouTuber known as Romeo Lacoste, he got accused of having inappropriate activity with people underage. And listen, we ran that story right here on Drama Alert. And at one point, we had Romeo on here for an interview where he basically admitted that, this communication did in fact happen between him and these minors. So then an entire year passes, and then there was another incident between Romeo and someone underage. We covered it right here on Drama Alert. And I got a cease and desist letter from Romeo demanding that I remove every single video talking about this. And I refused. But Romeo and his attorney didn't just demand that of me, they also demand this of other websites online to remove their articles, and some did. Inked Magazine completely deleted their article on the subject because they were worried about getting sued. I was not. Somebody had to speak up for freedom of speech. Somebody had to speak up for the other YouTubers, the commentary channels, journalists, and just normal people to be able to speak freely, have freedom of speech on this subject, and not be silenced. So I went to court with Romeo, and I got sued for $3.5 million. Now, thank God, I won the lawsuit.
Taking the precedent set by Romeo Lacoste versus Keemstar may not be equal to Matt Hoss versus H3H3 because of the settlement, but we could only end up with a number of outcomes of Def Noodles being sued. Channels will have to predict the future and know for a fact an allegation is the truth, or not take the risk reporting on allegations because the accusers could be lying, or they may not have enough proof to prove guilt. Tipster has reported multiple allegations saying these are just allegations at this point, meaning he has no definitive proof of guilt or innocence and is just reporting the allegations.
With sexual assault investigation, I gotta be honest, that's not a good look on his part. As you guys know, I always make it very clear when I cover these kind of things that yes, these are allegations. They're very serious allegations, but they're allegations nonetheless. And so I want to make it very clear with everybody watching these videos, when I create these videos on these very serious topics, yes, they're allegations. So do keep that in mind.
I'm not a lawyer, but can you prove that Def Noodles is deliberately publishing false allegations? Or is he reporting allegations from accusers similar to Tipster? Regardless of whether you have opinion of them being false or not, it's more of public interest to report the allegations as they are. I believe that's where the point of being able to successfully sue Def Noodles lies, and the impact it could have on the community. If Def Noodles is sued for reporting allegations that turn out to be false, then Tipster will be next when he reports allegations that turn out to be false. Slander is malicious and dangerous. The reason outlets can't make up lies passing it off as fact. Saying you heard that Def Noodles is secretly a virtual cat in a Minecraft house is clearly not a slanderous comment. It's impossible. It's a joke. Saying you think Def Noodles is funny is an opinion. You're allowed to say it because it's criticism. Saying you have proof that Def Noodles did a hit and run and try to pass off a fact that can either be proven true or false, which could be slanderous if false. Accusing Def Noodles of slander or defamation is a strong accusation. Def Noodles has the name Defamation Noodles from the community, implying he intentionally slanders people he's liable. Labeled as the worst commentary channel. With all the problems Def Noodles has from the community, I can agree with most of them. One I cannot is he is intentionally slandering or is liable. I won't say Tipster is slanderous because I can't prove it. I have criticized his sources, which I believe are fair, but won't stand by and watch someone say Tipster is deliberately misleading his audience and intentionally reporting false allegations because I can't prove that. Before you comment saying the proof you have that Def Noodles has slandered someone is he called John Swan alt-right. We could easily play guilt by association to prove Def Noodles' point, but as I have stated before, it's a slippery slope. I don't know if alt-right was the correct way to describe John Swan, but he was called out by Dream for saying racial stuff to him. We know everything Dream claimed in his original allegations to be true. This includes the racial slurs. Connor Gunningham also proved he spent the day being insensitive to the LGBTQ plus community being transphobic.
Very quickly before, we dig that nice little grave for John Swan, let's go into what transphobia actually is. Just like homophobia and biphobia, transphobia is almost very similar to them, where you basically invalidate someone's identity. Be it transphobic people could be throwing slurs at transgender communities, insulting them, propaganda against transgender people. So how does John Swan come into all this? Some of you might be asking. Well, on the 22nd of January, I think it was, he decided to express his concerns about neo-pronouns. But instead of doing that, he was actually attacking the transgender community for using them, saying that they are racist when they are not. Neo-pronouns have been around since 1858. Here are some screenshots I have, which a lot of people were trying to dismiss, of John Swan being transphobic. They are of him trying to make up his own gender, swan gender, whatever it was, and attacking the transgender community.
He somehow found the tweet and quote retweeted that, saying, "Oh, I'm the asshole because I'm alerting big YouTubers who follow him to the fact that, the communities that they support are being attacked by him and they're not doing shit all about it." And then of course, after he blocked me, he made another tweet saying, "Oh, the LGBTQ plus community mask off because I said that John Swan was a clown and he needs to get his transphobic ass off Twitter." Because me, one person calling out John Swan for his transphobia. The whole LGBTQ plus community is toxic. As if, what I did was toxic anyway, because it absolutely wasn't.
Looking at the evidence, there is no denying this to be true. Being insensitive to neo-pronouns, belittling the community by making up his own bird gender. These are what people from the community would consider being transphobic, as pointed out by Connor. This is not something you will ever hear from Def Noodle critics. They omit this information, saying Def Noodles has no grounds to call John Swan alt-right. I believe he certainly does have a legitimate point here when you take this information into account. John Swan's neo-pronoun stream is unavailable along with all the tweets he made. The only evidence is in Connor's video, and there is more than enough evidence to conclusively say he was being transphobic. I wholeheartedly agree with Connor. John Swan owes Connor an apology for the harassment faced on Twitter. He owes the LGBTQ plus community an apology.
So when reporting on the Dream and John Swan drama, for some unknown reason, Defamation Noodles decide to take it upon himself to label John Swan as alt-right. I stake my whole reputation on the fact he isn't anything close to alt-right.
Kavos, do you still want to stake your reputation at this point? The commentary leaders make it no secret there's a war waging in the community with Keemstar versus H3H3 at the top of each side. And allegiances make it easy to see their intentions. They have a conspiracy that H3H3 and Def Noodles work together because they are friends, and Ethan feeds Def Noodles information. It may be true, but where's the proof? Is this a case of guilt by association?
Keem has already addressed these allegations, and it's a big nothing burger. So for Def Noodles to kind of dig this up and turn it into some new sort of thing, it's just insanely ridiculous to say the least. And like I said earlier in this video, I'm pretty sure he's buddy-buddy with Ethan Klein from H3H3. Ethan probably put him up to posting this on his Twitter timeline. And all I have to say to Def Noodles is this. Look, it might be nice schmoozing up to Ethan Klein from H3H3 right now, but let me tell you something. If you get dragged into a courtroom because Ethan asked you to defame someone on your Twitter timeline and you do it, Ethan's not going to protect you in court. I can guarantee you that Ethan is not going to stand behind you if you get dragged into a courtroom for doing something stupid that he asked you to do. I don't know if Ethan put him up to this, but considering how friendly those two have been very recently, and the fact that a lot of times Def Noodles will post something and then next thing you know, Ethan's talking about it or quote tweeting it or something like that, it would not surprise me. It would not be surprising at all if Ethan put him up to this. So remember that. If you get dragged into a courtroom because you slandered or defamed someone, Ethan's not going to protect you.
There's like two different tweets where H3H3 Ethan Klein is supporting Mr. Beast in 2018. Now, those tweets still existed until a month ago. They just magically disappeared. Now, why would Ethan go back to tweets from 2018 a month ago and delete them supporting Mr. Beast? Because he is in a group chat with Taylor and Kat and Def Noodles, and they knew that this was coming, and this is part of the strategy. Let's take down Mr. Beast. Also, there has been, if you noticed, like, you know, Def Noodles, if you go back through his timeline, over like the last month, you know, every other day, he's like putting out a story. Mr. Beast, you know, 2 years ago said a bad word, or Mr. Beast did this, or like, dude, he's just been spamming this stuff, kind of prepping the community before these articles even came out. So this is a coordinated effort.
Everyone should follow your lead and just do a delete all.
Oh,
just a clean
baby,
slate.
I deleted all my old tweets.
How do you do that? I might need to, because you know what?
You don't know what's in there, man. You see shit, you're like, holy fuck, I wrote that?
Yeah, it can be bad. Like, tweets that get pulled, like, obviously, tweets are not.
Well, to be honest, if you go back to how people were talking just in general, back like in like 2010, you're like, holy fuck, people were wild in back then.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody's Keemstar has come through every single one of my old tweets, so it's not like I'm hiding anything.
Yeah.
Why do you ignore the word allegations and allegedly when it suits you? If there are allegations, Def Noodles can report them. Tipster has reported multiple allegations. Are they slander? Even when they turn out not to be true? If we search Tipster allegations, you will see video after video where he reports on video saying this person was accused. These are allegations. The person allegedly done sexual assault. What protects you from the exact same thing? And if there is a legal precedent set that states reporting on allegations that turn out to be false makes you guilty of slander, regardless of your intent, commentary will be dead. Let's entertain the idea that Def Noodles gets sued for reporting allegations. Do you not believe you would be next for reporting allegations of sexual abuse? Keemstar went to court so all commentary news channels could be free to speak on newsworthy topics, even if allegations. H3H3 welcomes the Triller lawsuit because he knows he set the precedent on fair use. He is the quintessential person to stand against the fair use lawsuit. If Def Noodles gets sued for reporting allegations that turns out to be false, Tipster is next. Commentary channels report the allegations based on information available. If they turn out to be false, you can say I reported the allegations on what I had. It makes sense. Very few channels of notable credibility report on allegations that come from blank profiles with no proof at all. There's usually some proof to take seriously. To vilify Def Noodles for the exact thing every commentary channel does, including themselves, is hypocrisy. Def Noodles reports the news just like Tipster. This is not spreading false allegations or misinformation. But at the end of the day, those are just my opinions. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I always like to hear what you guys have to say. But anyway, guys, this is Xylee Gets Real here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.